Okay, let's dive right in. Today, we are taking a cinematic look at a figure whose name has completely dominated business, television, and politics for decades: Donald Trump. Now, whether you view his impact as incredibly positive or deeply concerning, his story is undeniably one of the most fascinating narratives of the modern era. Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to trace the arc of his life from his early days all the way to his unprecedented return to the political stage.
We're going to start right in the middle of the tension. Just imagine, for a second, being told your career is completely over. Imagine surviving near total bankruptcy, a highly publicized impeachment, an election defeat, and then surviving a literal assassination attempt, only to come back stronger. It's this continuous cycle of being investigated, mocked, and written off by the media, only to defy the odds time and time again. So how does someone build that kind of relentless resilience? Well, to understand that, we have to go back to the beginning.
Section 1. The Foundation. Queens to Wharton.
So, born back in 1946 in Queens, New York, Donald John Trump grew up surrounded by the wealth of his father, Fred Trump, who was a highly successful real estate developer, and his mother, Mary Ann, a Scottish immigrant. Young Donald was surrounded by wealth, but, success alone wasn't enough. He wanted much more. By age 13, his parents really noticed this intense competitive energy he had, so they enrolled him in the New York Military Academy. The discipline was strict and the expectations were incredibly high. This environment forged his permanent focus on leadership and victory. From there, he didn't just go to any college. He attended the prestigious Wharton School of Business, studying economics and getting ready to build an empire.
Section 2. Building the Empire. Manhattan Ambitions. Moving into the 1970s, he officially joined his father's company. But the outer boroughs of New York, they just weren't enough for him. He set his sights directly on Manhattan, the absolute center of money, power, and prestige. He relentlessly expanded his empire through these massive, high-profile projects. We're talking the whole shebang: luxury hotels, towering skyscrapers, sprawling casinos, and elite golf courses. But the crown jewel, culminating all of this ambition, was the Golden Trump Tower. This specific skyscraper did something absolutely incredible. It transformed him from just another wealthy real estate developer into a recognizable global brand. Suddenly, the Trump name was on magazines, billboards, and television screens everywhere.
But as any economist will tell you, massive success built on massive debt is dangerous. And during the late 1980s and early 1990s, Trump's businesses hit a severe financial crisis. Literally billions of dollars were at stake. The media and financial experts were predicting total disaster, declaring his complete financial collapse was imminent. Many believed the Trump empire was officially over.
But they kind of underestimated his survival instincts. Through relentless restructuring, some really high-stakes negotiations, and sheer determination, he found a way back from the absolute brink. This would become a turning point in Trump's life. He didn't just survive. He proved that no matter how deep the deficit, he could claw his way out. The comeback had officially become his trademark.
Section 3. The Celebrity Era. Larger than life.
Fast forward to the early 2000s, and he had completely transitioned from a businessman into a household celebrity. Two simple words changed everything. You're fired. Those legendary words from his hit reality television show, The Apprentice, introduced him to millions of everyday Americans right in their living rooms. People who knew absolutely nothing about real estate suddenly knew everything about Donald Trump. It made his image incredibly larger than life, deeply embedding his persona into the fabric of American pop culture.
Section 4. The Political Earthquake. June 2015. Picture this: a historic descent down a golden escalator in Trump Tower to announce his candidacy for President of the United States. While the political establishment completely dismissed it as a publicity stunt and seasoned politicians ignored him, everyday voters, they were paying attention. His massive campaign rallies began drawing thousands of passionate supporters who deeply embraced this highly specific messaging. He focused heavily on an America First agenda, strict border security, economic nationalism, and a massive disruption to the political status quo. The movement expanded like wildfire, and suddenly the political establishment became extremely nervous as, one by one, his seasoned opponents fell.
Then came election night, November 2016. The tension on that night was absolutely palpable across the globe. As states began reporting their results, the atmosphere grew incredibly tense. And what happened next shocked the world. The outsider businessman, the reality TV star, actually defeated Hillary Clinton. It was a monumental upset that completely rewrote the rules of American politics.
Section 5. The 45th President. Breaking Traditions. Entering the White House in January 2017, his presidency immediately challenged long-standing political norms. He bypassed traditional press channels to communicate directly with the public through social media. This resulted in intense polarization. On one side, his supporters fiercely championed his major tax reforms, massive deregulation efforts, conservative judicial appointments, and strict border enforcement. But right next to that, his critics fiercely condemned him, accusing his administration of increasing political division, needlessly escalating global tensions, and dangerously breaking democratic traditions. No matter where you stood, his influence was stretching far beyond America's borders, forcing the entire world to adjust to a completely new political reality.
Section 6. Crisis and Defeat. Impeachment and Pandemic.
Political divisions had already reached a boiling point with a historic impeachment, and then a world-altering pandemic struck. The COVID-19 pandemic shut down global economies, closed businesses, and affected millions of lives just as his re-election campaign was gearing up. So, the 2020 election unfolded during this turbulent and really uncertain period. After days of intense vote counting and massive societal strain, Joe Biden emerged victorious. History usually suggests that defeated one-term presidents quietly fade away into private life, and many political analysts firmly believe Donald Trump's political career was permanently finished.
Section 7. The Ultimate Comeback. Courtrooms to Campaigns.
After leaving office, Trump faced an unprecedented barrage of legal battles and massive investigations that critics swore would be his end. But he refused to retreat. Actually, he used the spotlight and the controversy to galvanize his base even further. This all culminated in a moment of sheer suspense in July 2024. At a crowded, energetic campaign rally in Pennsylvania, chaos suddenly erupted. Gunfire echoed through the crowd in a shocking assassination attempt. Secret Service agents rushed the stage as supporters screamed, and the entire world held its breath, witnessing one of the most jarring and frightening moments in modern political history.
Just moments later, bloodied but defiant, he stood up, raised his fist in the air, and shouted to the crowd. He created an image that circled the globe within minutes. Regardless of your politics, people instantly recognized this as a historic moment. It vividly captured his relentless survival instinct and instantly became one of the defining photographs of the century.
Defying extraordinary odds once again, he officially launched another campaign for the presidency. Massive rallies returned with unmatched energy. Media attention intensified all over again, and his policies and debates absolutely dominated the headlines. He proved his influence was completely undeniable, forcefully returning himself to the absolute center of American politics. It is a comeback story unlike any we have ever seen in American history.
So what does this all mean? This brings us to the most important question of all. How will history remember Donald Trump? Whether he is ultimately viewed as a tireless fighter who bravely challenged a broken system, or a controversial leader who dangerously transformed political norms, his impact on America and the world is permanent. His story of wealth, failure, defiance, and survival leaves us all to wonder how his legacy will ultimately be written. Thank you for joining us for this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.